Is it legal for me to eat a pastry on camera?
Funny you should mention that. Bill just delivered my raspberry bagel.
Ooh, buddy, that's a yes.
You know,
Well,
you
let me take the
disappointed me
headphones
this
off.
morning. You disappointed me.
I think the sound quality is better on the recording if I don't use the headphones.
Don't you want to know how you disappointed me?
Oh, hold on. Now I can't hear you. What?
You disappointed me.
Why? What did I do?
Well, I laid a little trap for you and you didn't bite. I purposely, you know, you and I are very prompt. And I opened a meeting and you're there. So this morning I thought, I'm going to screw around a little bit. I'm going to see what Thomas does if I'm not prompt for our appointment. Guess what? You weren't prompt for your appointment. You know, we give each other about 2 minutes. Do you know that? And then I'll get a thing from you that says, let me in. Or I'll send you a message that says, kick, 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 like time's a wasting.
How long was it open for before I joined? Because I just missed the text message.
Oh, it was just a minute.
Oh, okay. Because I just kept refreshing eBay being like, where are all the sales? They're not coming in. Where are the sales?
Oh, you had bad sales last night?
Yeah, they're fine. Today, this morning, usually there's a little rush in the morning and I didn't get it. So I was just wondering, where's my rush?
Well, I was, I felt kind of bad. Thomas,
Right
would
here.
you like me to be more interesting so you stay in the camera?
Yeah. Well, all that enjoyment of your bagel or whatever the heck it is you're eating made me need to get some creamer for my coffee.
You know, I use the liquid creamer and then I put it in a little machine I have that makes froth and I get the 0 sugar one. So they were out of 0 sugar. So Bill thought he would reward me for being such a fine wife. And he bought the kind that was the full-blown calorie kind. Mm-hmm. Hated it. We both did. We threw it away. It doesn't foam as well. It didn't taste as well. So anyway, I'm back to the no calorie, which allows me to have my raspberry bagel. I felt kind of bad this morning. Some guy evidently was a little late joining the meeting. Did you see me? He said, hey, I just tuned in and you're getting yelled at. What's going on? Did I do a good job of acting like a pissed off boss?
And then
I hope I didn't hurt his feelings. I can come on a little bit strong sometimes.
Oh, really?
Bite me.
Well, what I thought was funny is another example of like why Chris doesn't ask us questions about himself, because he asked one and then we could have gone for a whole hour on people giving him advice on this one thing.
Yeah,
it was brutal.
It was. I did not jump on it right away. I just, when he went through this stuff, I thought, sound like keep your mouth shut. Just keep your mouth shut. I thought, no, it's too good of a parallel. You just fired somebody. So anyway, then I had to put later, hey, Chris, I wasn't scolding you because people were, I think, were kind of getting mad at me for being mean to Chris, but I wasn't scolding him. It was just too close of a parallel for me to pass up, you know. Kind of like a vulture passing up roadkill.
The call was really interesting to me because it made me like kind of, I'd say Chris has kind of been on one for about a week and a half.
I didn't bring that up, but you know, because that's a little more on a personal nature, but I asked, gosh, I guess we can say anything on this call, can't we?
Yeah.
Except the F word. Don't say the F word.
Yeah.
I was talking to Bill. I do that a lot.
Whoa, that's scandalous.
I know. And I said, he was kind of following along on the frustrations we've been having in a certain issue with the channel. And I said, you know, I kind of feel like, you know, I'm being dusted off a little bit. There's a change in his attitude. What do you got your finger up for?
I said, I'd like to say, I think the issue's more or less been resolved.
Oh no, it absolutely has. But anyway,
okay.
So I said to Bill,
by the way, do you know what hasn't been resolved? Little P-Belly
Pete.
wrote this morning.
Oh, wait a minute. I have the squirrel right here. I haven't had the squirrel out for this. Bill, come fetch my squirrel. He's
Little
ignoring me.
P-Belly rhymes.
So anyway, I find it really interesting. You know, Chris is extremely helpful. I value his advice, but I said, I've noticed a kind of a change and I'm not sure why. I know he's involved in a lot of things. Bill said, it's because he's believing his own press. And he wasn't speaking about Bill particularly. What are you talking about? He said, at some point, you are doing so many things and you're doing them well that you feel elevated above mere mortals, just a tiny bit. And when that starts, you don't have time for the quote little people. And I told you, I hope I recorded it one time, about why I never say I don't have time anymore. That is such a cop out, because I had this guy that I admired him. I said, gee, you're learning a foreign language. He said, well, you should do it. Here, get a book. I said, I just don't have time. And this guy turned on me. He worked for me. He turned on me. And he said, tell me anything. Tell me it's not as important as other things. Tell me you really don't want to do it, but please don't tell me you don't have time. And I said, well, you know, he said, stop. Do you watch any television? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do while you brush your teeth? I said, what do you mean? I brush my teeth. He said, you could have earbuds in your ear listening to a language tape. He went through a litany of things that he said, do you walk? What, you know, all kinds of things. So I whenever I hear I don't have time, I really just cringe. Do you want me to rant a little bit about people who are late?
Go for it. Let's do it.
I had to write notes because habitual lateness is, in my opinion, a prime example of passive aggressive behavior. The person who is habitually late exercises their control by requiring others to modify their schedules to compensate for their lack of willingness to perform. You know, a date is like a contract to me. Thomas, we're going to meet and we're going to talk at 7:30. If I can't make it, I'm going to let you know about 7. Thomas, I'm running late. Can we do this at 7:45? You're going to say, gee, I think I'll be ready a little earlier. If you can do 7:15, that would work. The classic for me was a person on the call this morning who has a lovely solution to her habitual lateness. Her dentist simply schedules her actual arrival time for a half hour later. I thought, oh my God, how many people has she now been able to involve in compensating for her lack of planning? Why does the person who is habitually late assume that their time is more valuable than mine? Do you know, I don't go to lunch dates or coffee dates with people who are late. I mean, it's going to happen once in a while, but I get a call. I don't, because my time is valuable. And one other thing, this is hurtful. I'm sorry. We work ourselves into a frenzy in attempts to shave a few seconds off of our listing process. And yet, every morning when Chris is 5 minutes late, and if he is correct and 500 people are counting on him being on time, that's a cumulative 4 hours of group time that is wasted to compensate for a 5-minute lateness on the leader's part. Now, do I go to a concert? I'm a Rolling Stones kind of fan. It's my age. And would I go to a Rolling Stones concert if I knew that instead of showing up at 7, they were going to be at 7:45 because they're the Rolling? Absolutely. It comes with the territory. Why do I show up every morning for the call when I know Chris is going to be late? Because he might not be late and I don't want to miss it. So, you know, he is late and I've agreed to accept that, and I modify my behavior because what he delivers is valuable. But it is a contract when you say, I'm going to be there someplace. Now I will quit my rant.
My last employee was kind of habitually late, and I didn't handle it the way I should have. If I did it over again, I would just, like, I probably would have probably should have fired him, right? Should have just been like, nope, we're done. you know, like if,
I do
like
believe,
if,
I do believe in letting them know, fire is a short warning shot across the bow.
yeah,
When you hire them, I'm going to tell you, if everything is important, you can arrive with your teeth not brushed. You can arrive with your hair a mess. But if you're habitually late, it's a deal. Do you want the job? It's a deal breaker. Do you want the job? The other thing is, don't these people don't you have an employee manual? You should. If you have any W-2s, God, you've got to have an employee manual to keep your ass
no,
out of court.
yeah, probably should. Don't.
Mhm. Want me to do one for you? I have a bunch of
Yeah,
them. I
absolutely.
really do.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's what Bill did for 30 years.
really,
Hmm.
like HR compliance stuff.
Well, no, he would go in and work with companies anywhere, millions of dollars company that
Sure.
were just going the wrong way. Their numbers were bad. He would go in and he'd fix it. I don't know if I
Oh,
told you this, but one of the things he did is, I said, what would you do on this job? He said, I had to fire a guy. I said, what do you mean you got to fire? He said, well, I only didn't want to fire him, didn't know how. I said, well, do you have a way of doing it? He said, yeah, I do. I said, don't make me beg. How do you fire somebody? He said, well, let's say his name's John Smith. I said, okay, his name's John Smith. He said, I go and I have a company meeting and everybody shows up and I'm introduced and I say, okay, I'm glad to be here. Everybody who works for this company, raise your hand. John Smith, you can keep your hand down. You see why I married that man? He outwits me every time.
pretty good.
So what's the takeaway?
So I wasn't done with my rant.
Oh, I'm waiting for it.
Okay, good. So him being late was a good indication of other things as well. It wasn't just that he was late. I think it was that he didn't have a ton of respect, because afterwards I ended up learning from a different employee that when I was not on vacation, but like on a trip or doing something else away for a little bit, like he would basically not work. He just kind of sit there and like sit on his phone or whatever, which is like really disrespectful, especially because I was paying him very well for, for what he was normally getting paid at another job. And even though we
Oh, you're talking
performed
about
pretty
your
work,
employee.
my
I
employee,
thought you were talking about Chris, and I'm thinking, holy shit, do you have a complex here or what? No.
no.
Your
And
employee.
yeah, my employee. And even though he like really performed when he worked, it definitely had like it changed the, I guess, morale / culture that I, at the end of the day, am the one that's responsible for holding and creating. And I'm really not like, I'd rather tell someone to do something, maybe give them, because what I do is not hard. Give them like 5 minutes or less of instruction and then let them go for it. And if they have a better system or they figure out some way to do it that, works for them, I'm much happier to let them do that if it makes them happier and it works and the job still gets done. Like, I really don't want to be hands-on. I don't want to be like, all right, we're only doing this, we're only doing that, and I'm working alongside you. I would so much rather just say, here you go do it and be done with it.
Do you make that clear to your employee when you're interviewing them? Because that would be a really important thing. There are some jobs, I think I would say there are some jobs where, there's a written down process and by golly, you better be on step number 2. I work a different way. I want you to develop the most effective way for you to make my business successful. And to a certain degree, you're going to have a free rein to do that. If you're not comfortable without direct supervision, or you can't schedule your time without me being there, then this probably isn't the job for you.
So 2 of my employees have been based on referrals. I honestly don't know how to go through to hire someone to do this job. The way I hired my first person is because I knew them and they had previously worked for me. So I knew, okay, this is going to be perfect. I can trust this person with my life. No problem. Next person that worked for me. Well, I had a couple people that pre-worked for me and that just straight up didn't work. It was like day 1, this isn't working. We're done. Mutual understanding. Anyways, this next guy, was a referral, and the referral was, referral was from my girlfriend. So I totally trust her opinion. And he was fine, got the job done, did exactly what I said, but like I said, didn't, I think, respect the occupation. And my new employee, who's a referral from him, seems to be much more respectful and understanding of the whole thing. So I mean, like, shows up every time, much more trustworthy. But that's how it goes.
It sounds to me like you are not giving a good enough description of the job when you hire, because some people, I mean, if you have people who aren't understanding the job, that's one thing. I've worked with a lot of union employees too, and so I went through this thing with a person. They had a really bad work habit, not showing up. So I did the thing of, look, this isn't working. I'm not sure this is working out. I'll tell you what, here are the areas where you need improvement, and come up with a plan, and let's meet again in a week. Well, a week went by, they didn't do diddly squat, same problem. So I have in the office and I say, well, I want you to take the rest of the day off. I want you to see if you can't come up with a solution we both can live with. So they went home. Next day we met in the office, and they have a little bit of pepper in their stride, and sat down and said, well, let me tell you something. You took off last Tuesday to go to the dentist. I'm a boss. I said, yeah. You left early. I had a meeting, which I don't feel necessary to tell them about. And I said, uh-huh. She said, okay, that is not acceptable. And I said, okay, well, I think I have the solution. What's that? I said, I'll fire you, you fire me, and let's see which one sticks. And that was it. So I'm not namby-pamby. That's why I was on the room, I hate picking my tooth, but some time ago, and somebody was getting ready to hire employees. And I made a comment about, don't, try to maintain a professional relationship with your employees. You don't want to know I don't want to know, leave it at the door. And this person said, you'll never be able to keep employees because, they want a friend. I said, I don't want a friend. I want someone who wants a good job with fair pay and shows up to do it. So I just feel real strongly. It's not a class thing. It's simply that my friends are my friends and my employees are my employees. Sometimes, those things cross, but it's a very delicate path to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, personnel is the god awfulest part of any business. It is horrid. It's horrid. Of dealing with this, because especially now, and I don't know why, but those younger whippersnappers, I don't want to know that, gee, I'm late every day because I have a special circumstance, because my child,
No.
I don't want to hear it.
Having employees, in my experience, is the most rewarding part of the whole job.
Oh, geez, you can have it. I just hate it.
I mean, there's no way to, I guess the word we always use, scale without bringing other people on. And if you bring on the right people,
I know,
and have a good time, then you get to see the results of it, and you get to contribute to those.
I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying have a plan. People who just willy-nilly think they're going to have a family. Oh, and we're all going to have family. We're going to eat together. We're going to sleep together. Sleep together. No. Don't get your meat where you get your groceries. Anyway, yeah. I don't believe that. And I also said, look, an old guy told me one time, and I've told you this, it's a lot easier to start out pretty strict because 30% of these people aren't going to work out. It's easy to get nicer. It's really hard on people when you start out saying, I'm going to love you and everything about you, and I want to know every detail of what happened to you as a child. And then have to move to, look, we need to have a more professional relationship. So I start out like I do with my friends. You didn't know, and you still don't know an awful lot about me, and I don't know an awful. We know what we need to know about each other to function. And I enjoy your company, so I share things with you that I probably don't share with other people. But it wasn't the first time we met on the call. I didn't say, let me tell you about my medical problems and, about my dad. it was not relevant. It wasn't
No.
relevant. Anyway,
Nope.
I appreciate the strange dance we do every morning.
What's interesting though is like our strange dance. Whoopsies. Low battery already. Our strange dance is just us being us, which is the difference. There's no like acting. There's nothing that's like, there's nothing inauthentic about it. I'm not playing some game and you're not playing some game. It's just two people that enjoy each other's company and have some, I'd say, strange natural understanding of it.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we're getting a lot of views on the channel.
And by a lot of views, you mean like oh God, what the heck is his name? Never remember his name. The darn podcaster who is the most popular, Joe Rogan, like Joe Rogan views.
I don't know him.
All right, he's the most viewed podcaster, most listened to podcaster.
Okay.
Guy.
I don't know if this, I'm going to just hit refresh because I don't know if you need to do that or not. Oh, something went wrong. What do you mean something went wrong, you jackass? And why does it have a monkey?
I was watching the video one of the videos last night, and at one point you're talking to your iPhone. Do you remember that one? On your iPhone, and you're like, what is she doing? It's not a union job.
Okay, so here I am at the channel dashboard. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. So let me go to account, switch account. I have to be signed in as Thomas. That was
All right.
And now, I mean, this is really more complicated than it should be. I kind of wish I hadn't. Let me get out a bunch of this. Anyway, I was going to tout how well we were doing, and now I can't even get in there. Oh, there it is.
Is dealing with YouTube kind of like dealing with Photoshop, where you're like, oh, this should be easy, and it's the most complicated process of all time?
This has been a really kind of a knee breaker. Okay, I'm assuming these are current. We have 119 on our intro, which is interesting because I have we lost the 500 we had on the other, when we just did a link. The shark, we have 93, hip deep and hippos, 13, yin meets yang, which is our first one, is 13, and buying smart has 10. So I'm getting, pardon?
Do you want me to make another post with all those other ones on it?
No, I think maybe just say, hey, the channel is officially up and running. We're uploading our backlog of videos.
I'll do that tonight.
Subscribe and hit notifications. And since we're the only ones on there, you'll know when we post something new.
I'll do that tonight. That makes sense.
Because we have 20 some to post.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm waiting for the coaching part of this whole thing because I'm just kind of fumbling around. And I'm sure there are lots of things that I'm not doing right.
Mm-hmm.
But we are what we are. That's my hero, Papa. I am what I am.
So back to the call. I think we had a good thing on the place. Back to the call. So one of my major criticisms of the calls in general, is when Chris starts talking about his own stuff, which is in a way the most interesting part of the calls, when Chris starts going into things that he's done, because Chris is at a higher level than almost anybody else in the group, right?
Yep.
So when he goes in and starts talking about stuff he's done, and then everyone else gives their 2 cents, I'm like, we don't need the 2 cents. I don't need.
Yeah, he's really not looking for our input.
I don't need a penny from you guys. I'm just looking for what Chris has to say, and maybe some thoughts of us on ways to, like, I don't know, like, okay, maybe this is it. You know how he wants to go on Twitter to have a blue check mark, which is
I don't even know what the hell. I don't know what a blue check.
It's like an exclusivity thing. You talk about how like there's cool kids in the group. Some cool kids need some cool kid table. Some of them need a blue check mark. Some of them don't. And the kids outside get like a yellow check mark. So it's like a maybe. But yeah.
If you can't tell who the cool kids are without a blue check mark, then you got some work to do.
Yeah.
I don't, Thomas, should we be doing Twitter? I'm not comfortable on this platform yet, but as soon as I am, we ought to be looking at, I don't do Instagram. I don't really get it. Twitter, I don't get it. So I don't do them.
Instagram's the one I somewhat understand. Instagram is the one that I would push.
Okay, so how does Instagram work? Is there a limited amount of stuff? So I just post stuff like, gee, I brushed my teeth this morning. Is it that kind of a thing?
No. So what we would post is basically links to the YouTube thing, links to YouTube.
Oh.
So we would post that with like a thumbnail and a little description of it. And
We ought to do it then.
in the meantime, we could post like stories of like, because we could both have access to the Instagram page. We could post like stories about, I don't know, the call or whatnot. Because I don't
You
think
look kind of like a pirate. Please say arg.
I'm waiting
Say
for
arg.
you to talk. I'm waiting for you to talk so I can play with my content.
I want you to say arg. Go ahead.
Yarr.
Yeah. Now you need a parrot on your shoulder. No, this is too much fun. Look me in the eye when you talk to me. I don't think the call was about much more than that this morning. I enjoyed the call on a watchability. I think it was highly watchable, although, on the one hand, I'm going to say, gee, I get tired of people putting in their 2 cents worth, but I was the first one who put my 2 cents worth in. So I guess I can't be.
But you get a blue check mark. That's the difference. Not everybody gets a blue check mark.
What'd you do? Lose your contact?
I think it's in my eye somewhere. So now I got to really do it.
It looks like it's under your eye.
Does it?
Yeah.
Nah, I think it's.
God, it's on the tip of your nose. I'm making you do this. Do you ever just put 2 fingers in and kind of grab it? I do.
Yeah, but it's moved around. It's somewhere in there. So now it's like, all right, now you got to play around and find it. Because it did not fall out.
I thought I saw it fall out.
Yeah,
but
thanks.
My phone screen is so dirty. It could have been a fly.
Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. Oh, we're finding it. It's coming out.
I love raspberry. I love raspberry anything. So one time I was doing the same thing you're doing, and I had been eating a raspberry something. So I take the contact out of my eye, and I'm at someplace I can't. God. I don't have a thing, so I put it in my mouth, put it back in my eye with a raspberry seed under it. You should have seen the clawing.
Oh my God!
Oh, it was just I was clawing like a crazy person. There, it's back.
When yesterday I was eating blueberries at night, and like all good things, I was giving blueberries to Little P. Initially, I was hand feeding them, and then Isabella's like, "I want some blueberries," and as a result, you can't directly give them to Little P, but you can drop them on the floor. And I was like, "All right, good point." So I dropped them on the floor. Woke up to a significant pile of Little P poop that was just solid blue, just all blue. So
it was like a Smurf crept in and crap.
It was Smurf poop. So I learned to not give Little P fruit before bed.
You know what I learned? Don't ever give your dog grapes. My dog loved grapes, and I was.
Kills him.
I didn't know that, and
Chocolate
so now I have my dog on some kind of liver support stuff because she says I'm surprised, because I had fed him grapes forever because he loved it. He does like watermelon, and I understand that's okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The only things
but
they
not
can't
grape.
eat are
Why grapes?
Some tannin thing, grapes and chocolate.
Yeah,
milk.
So
milk chocolate's okay. I mean, so at one, I had some chocolate on like the counter, and Little P's not too tall, but somehow still dragged the chocolate off the counter when we were gone, and just had basically eaten the whole wrapper. And I was like, oh God. And I texted my brother who's a vet, and he's like, nah, don't worry about it. It's just the dark chocolate because it has more cocoa in it.
And it's over time too. You're not feeding your chocolate every day, I would assume.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So I have been spending an inordinate amount of time on this channel stuff, but my bank is gone, so I'm kind of listing daily instead of having a bank. And I'm trying to think now, if I'm leaving the 25th at night, and my close of day is at 8:45 in the morning, then I really want to close. Let me see, and that's a Monday, so I really want to close no, I could do Friday. I want to close Friday or Saturday. Anyway, I could ship out if they order and pay. What I worry about is the people who order but don't pay.
Yep.
Okay, so I got to think about that. So I'm probably gonna shut down probably Wednesday.
So 4 days beforehand, because they can
You're right.
not pay for 4 days. So what you can do is just 4 days before, just change your handling time. So that way, if they do pay within that 4-day period, you're not on the hook for anything until after you get back.
Well, but I have same day, one day, because then I get my blue check mark.
Yeah. So just change it to however many days you're gone +4, and you won't.
Well, don't you do that? Well, I'll just do that by going on time away.
Yeah, true.
I'll just start time away, and then I'm back on the 2nd, but God knows. So I'm going to say that I'm not going to be shipping until the 4th. I can always change that earlier, but I'm kind of worried about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's some travel crap every time.
Yeah. I've kind of got my plan to Tokyo in the works.
Oh, really? Are you actually
on the? Yeah, I think I'm going to spend my 75th birthday in Tokyo.
So one of my major takeaways from the call was just like, damn, got to be more proactive. Really got to think about this more and just go for it. That was it. Which sounds silly, but still, it seems more profound than it sounds, and that's really all that matters. I could be like,
Thomas, if you're happy,
but as long as I internalize what that means to me, good to go.
Yeah, if you're happy with where you're at, and you don't have any immediate thing, I'm kind of a tech philosophy.
But I'm not.
What you're doing,
I'm not happy with where I'm at. That's the thing. I'm never happy with where I'm at. I'm always like,
so go to the gym. You'll get rid of that pot belly in no time.
Yeah, I know. It's very essential. So that's one thing. And then I got to it like last night. I was watching Mandy's Whatnot thing for like 3 hours, like barely listing on eBay. And I was like, I could have been done with eBay and then just watched the Whatnot. But like watching the Whatnot thing just made me feel like I'm wasting time because I should be doing something that's productive. So I just need to do more stuff.
Are you Catholic? Were you raised Catholic? You kind of think you have either Catholic guilt. Were you Catholic?
No, but I adopted Catholicism when I was like 25.
See that you're talking Catholic guilt here.
Yeah, I know. No. This is much more deep-seated, just inherent insecurities.
Do you ever make Isabella dress up like a nun? Stop it! I don't want to know. She'd be a pretty nun.
As soon as she gets inside the house, even if I'm not there, nun outfit with a face covering, and if not that, full burqa, no air conditioning.
That burqa idea, if I didn't, if I was afraid of being shot in this rather small conservative town, I really like the clothes. I really do.
Think it's a good style?
I kind of do, because it covers a multitude of sins. You only have one color to worry about, black. But the ones that scare me, and I've got to get over this because it is just my problem, not theirs. When I go to a large city and I see the women that are in full, with the eye, you can't see the eyes. It scares me a little bit. So whenever I'm afraid of something, that means I've got to learn, I've got to get to know a little bit more about it, because
Have
it's
you been to the Middle East?
no, and I don't have any desire. And see, again, that's my problem. Which means that's probably ought to take a trip there.
My my good friend Derek like loves Israel.
Oh
It's his
God,
favorite
with the
place on
fruit
earth.
flies.
They live too long. That's my verdict.
I saw a machine gun at Walmart. Well, it was kind of a fake machine gun.
Is
And
it salt gun?
yes,
They're
yes.
so great. They're so awesome.
If it weren't $20, it'd have been mine.
My mom. So do you know what a white elephant gift is?
Yeah.
Okay. So my family does a white elephant thing. Someone got that. My mom ended up getting it. And she was like, this is stupid. I don't want this. And then started using it around the house and is like, this is the greatest thing of all time. I love this, right? Even though she doesn't like
Does it
guns, she
work?
loves using it. It
Or was
works.
she
Oh,
shooting the
it's
kids?
amazing. It works amazing. So then my little brother took it to his friend's house because he figured my mom didn't want it. And she got so mad at him. She's like, I want that back. Go get
My
that back.
fly gun.
My bug salt gun. It's
Well,
amazing.
what I didn't know is if I were to fire it at you at close range, would it hurt you?
No, not at all.
Well, then how can I kill a fly? I mean, you got to go witness what you do every day, like a crazy person. Don't you have to?
I think it hits them enough that it stuns them and then they fall and die. I don't know, but
Then
it
you
works.
need a
It
dog who
absolutely
likes
works.
flies. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of an animal eats flies? An
Oh,
aardvark.
oh, Little P would eat all the flies if she could catch them.
Well, you see, you got your hunting dog. You shoot him with a fly with a salt gun, and she'll clean up. Well, we have gone
Yeah,
beyond the
it's
pale.
like the bug that was in the bubble wrap that time.
Oh, I know, that was the funniest thing.
That was pretty cute. We're probably over time, right?
Yep, I think so. Whatever it is, I'm gonna call this a halt because I got
Let's
stuff
do it.
to do.
Let's yeah, exactly.
All
I gotta
right.
go post
So
office.
today is Tuesday, right? Tomorrow is the public call, right? Wednesday.
Mhm.
Oh, today's text call, isn't it?
Mhm.
What time does it start? I always miss. Is it like 4 o'clock my time?
Yes.
Are you sure? It's 7 your
Yeah.
time?
7 Eastern.
Man, that thing goes for some time sometimes.
So the longest I've ever been on, I think it went to 12:30, maybe even 1 o'clock once.
Wow, which would be what, 3 o'clock? It'll be 11 o'clock my time.
Yeah, so that's 6 hours.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to try to behave myself tomorrow and not come across like a school teacher.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. See you
Okay.
in the morning. Bye.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.